For the last 3 years, the Google Pixel devices were not catching enough of traction, mainly due to the features they offered in their respective price tag. A solid Pixel device that could turn the tables for Google was due for very long, and Google finally did it with the Pixel 6 series. The Pixel 6 and 6 Pro have remained the talk of the town for a good couple of months. I also hopped on to the Pixel 6 train and took my time to come up with this review. After using the Pixel 6 Pro for nearly a month, I am ready to share my thoughts on it. If you are watching my channel for the first time ever, a subscription would be much appreciated. Alright, I would start it off with the Pixel 6 Pro's design and build. You might have heard a lot of good stuff about the Pixel 6 Pro's design, and I have the same opinion. This is hands down the most cool looking smartphone of the year 2021. The Pixel 6 Pro is a giant phone flaunting that huge screen real estate. The phone is big enough to occupy the joint space of your hands. It's a glass build. The Gorilla Glass Victus has been used to add protection to the front and back of this phone. The camera hump at the back is big enough to act as a grip. I got this phone in the stormy black color, which looks more like dark grey. This color is lovely. Surprisingly, the Pixel 6 Pro is not too heavy despite being this big and despite having a big battery inside. The only downside here is that the phone is too glossy and it easily slips out of your hands. Unlike the Pixel 6 Pro's aluminum frame has a shiny or a glossy finish, which also makes it a little less grippy. The dual speakers sit at the bottom surrounding the USB-C port, while the volume and the power key sit on the right side. Displacement of the power button is a little uncomfortable to reach out to, especially if you do not have big hands. And not to forget, the Pixel 6 Pro can easily stand water and dust since it comes with the IP68 certification. The display of this phone deserves some explanation. First off, that huge screen is sized at 6.71 inches, almost the size of the S21 Ultra and just 0.2 inches smaller than the Note 20 Ultra's display. The screen is wide and slightly curved to add that ultimate premiumness. Punch hole on the front is notable. It could be smaller in my opinion. This is a super bright display. It's Quad HD LTPO AMOLED panel supporting 120Hz of refresh rate. You can already imagine how cool the animations look on this one and how good is your media consumption experience going to be. I have watched a lot of videos on this phone and I have also played a handful of games, and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience using this display. The colors are on spot, the viewing angles have no issues at all. The display is well saturated, vibrant, and delivers an experience you should be expecting from a flagship of this genre after spending all that money. Remember that the Pixel 6 Pro's display is too powerful compared to the display of its younger brother. I also like typing on the screen. The haptic feedback has a very soft and subtle output. It sounds like a drum beating far away. I usually like clicky haptic feedback. This one does have a clicky feel to the fingers, but it sounds subtle, and that's what actually impressed me more. The display also accommodates a fingerprint scanner underneath. Unfortunately, this is not the best fingerprint scanner out there. You have to press and hold the scanner to unlock the phone. I honestly think the fingerprint scanner is not up to the flagship standards. In fact, the Pixel 6's fingerprint scanner works faster than this. As far as the speakers of the Pixel 6 Pro are concerned, I found them much louder and crispier than the Pixel 6's speaker. Let's move on to the hardware now. This phone is powered by Google's homemade Tensor chip. For those of you who don't know, Tensor has the DNA of Samsung Exynos. The Tensor chip falls right in between the existing Exynos 2100 and the upcoming Exynos 2200. This is a 5nm chipset and it's optimized by Google to go in line with their software. Tensor delivers great numbers on the benchmark apps. The benchmark scores depend on the processes running in the background, the ambient temperature, and many other factors, and these scores can largely vary for users. Ideally, the Antutu score of the Pixel 6 Pro should cross 700k. Anyways, the Geekbench and 3D Mark scores are also on your screen. To test this phone further, I also played a handful of games on it. The games ran just like they are supposed to run on such a powerful phone. What added to my gaming experience was once again the display. Google has done a great job there and I can't stop talking about it. No games will stutter or lag on this phone. The only downside is that quickly falling battery life and the phone heating up. I think Google has a lot of work to do there. I am not at all impressed by the battery life of the Pixel 6 Pro. Pixel 6 on the contrary has a much better battery consumption. I think the Quad HD display of the Pixel 6 Pro consumes a lot of battery, and also the phone's rising temperature shows that its CPU performance is continuously going through the roof, resulting in more battery consumption. Software wise, there is no match to the Pixel devices. The Pixel 6 Pro brings latest Android 12. This is a clean, bloatware free UI. Now Google doesn't add a lot of features to jinx your experience. The UI elements are kept simple, animations are subtle and swift. You will find all basic useful features on this phone. You just won't find a load of extra features like you do on the Samsung One UI or the MI UI or any other UI for that matter. This phone does have a dark mode, inbuilt screen recorder, the navigation gestures or buttons options is there. It does have a nice back tap feature and a handful of other gestures as you can see on the screen. It's a good looking UI, and yeah, you do get the always on display too. One bug that I personally encountered while using the Pixel 6 Pro is that at times the phone fails to connect to the Wi-Fi. The phone refuses to turn up the Wi-Fi and it also fails to scan the available networks. I eventually have to restart my phone to be able to turn the Wi-Fi back on in order to access the internet. People have been talking about many such bugs, especially the connectivity issues, and this is also where a lot of work has to be done by Google. Google always updated its phones to the latest versions, first of all, be it the major Android version or just a minor update, but this time things have gone south. Google has failed to provide the latest December update to masses. Even I did not get the December update on my Pixel 6 or Pixel 6 Pro so far, and we have already entered the year 2022's January. This is also where Google needs to work. Google also keeps its camera apps pretty simple and free of complexities. You will find all useful options right on the front. The camera app settings will let you turn on or off the RAW mode as well. The camera hardware of this phone is also very capable. Here's your look at its camera hardware specs. I have taken a lot of videos and photos on this phone, and here is your look at the videos. I am quite surprised at how much capable these cameras are. Pixel 6 Pro can record up to 4K 60fps videos in the ultra-wide. Pixel 6 Pro can record ultra-wide videos in 30 and 60 fps modes in 1080p resolution and only in 30 fps in the 4K mode. The phone can however go up to 4K at 60 fps at max from its main camera. I find its videos pretty stable. I am not sure why people found the video quality of this phone terrible back in the day, or I am not sure if Google has fixed the video stability. The phone's rear camera video quality is not bad. You can also record front camera 1080p videos in both 30 and 60 frames per second, while 4K front camera videos are limited to 30 frames per second only. Watch these video samples coming your way, and I'll catch you with the photo samples in a bit. Hi guys, this is the front camera video from the Pixel 6 Pro. I'm recording this in the 4K resolution. It's got the 1080p resolution for the front camera as well. Obviously, if it's got the 4K, it's definitely got the 1080p as well. And this video will give you an idea about the audio recording quality of this phone's mics and also the video stability of these cameras. On the screen right now it looks pretty good, but obviously for the front camera video you guys have to be the judge and drop your feedback about this video, its stability and other factors including the colors down in the comment section. Here are the photos I took from the Pixel 6 Pro. To be honest, I do not find these photos bad. I think these cameras are solid, they lack some details maybe, but overall this is a pretty good result. The images have a warm tone, overall they are well saturated, highlights and shadows are well managed as you can see. I would like to hear you out on these photos as well. Drop your own analysis about all these Pixel 6 Pro photo samples down in the comment section. And yeah, I did take some selfies too. The standard Pixel 6 doesn't do great at managing the edge detection in the portrait mode images, but the Pixel 6 Pro's edge detection is also quite good. The depth effect is equally good too. Overall, I would like to say that I liked the cameras of this phone, and with this we reach a conclusion. As always, I will break down my conclusion into a few simple points. Pixel 6 Pro comes in at $899. And if you want that 256 gigs variant like me, you can get that for $999. The pricing is definitely competitive. It's not an overpriced or an overvalued product. For that money, you get an amazing display with maxed out specs, a completely premium phone by all the means, and very powerful hardware. I mean, you do get all the traits of a flagship device, including that AMOLED display. You get the wireless charging and reverse wireless charging as well, and you do get the fast charging capabilities in this phone as well. The cameras of this phone are not bad. Both the rear and the front cameras are powerful enough to act as your main photography driver. What's not good about this phone is its battery life, I would say, and Google also needs to improve its software. Google has to work on improving its battery life, the heat management, and also needs to roll out the software updates on time. The good factors here outweigh the bad factors of this phone, therefore it definitely gets my recommendation. Let me know what do you guys think about the Pixel 6 Pro. Would you be willing to get one? If so, what color you will go with? Also, like and subscribe if you haven't yet. With that being said, I will sign off and see you all in the next one.